Welcome to the Blue Dragon Guild, a channel all about Dungeons and Dragons. I am Baron.
And I'm Mackenzie.
Today we are talking about the latest book announced from Dungeons and Dragons, and that is Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft. And I personally am excited about this because I really like the world of Ravenloft. I like the setting, and I own, I think, all but maybe 2 or 3 of the novels that were written in the early 2000s. So I've had a good bit of reading on them as well. Mackenzie, Ravenloft.
I'm pretty excited for it. I know, I'm sure we'll get into it too. How this connects, obviously, with the Curse of Strahd stuff, with Ravenloft and what it is.
Yeah.
And we'll get more into that. But I was pretty excited when it announced for multiple reasons. Obviously, with it being like a horror aspect, I was very excited going back to Ravenloft, which they have not done, to my understanding, very much at all. If not in 5th edition, only then Curse of Strahd.
Mackenzie, they have gone back to Ravenloft in every edition since it came out in 2nd edition.
Oh, I meant just in 5th edition. I don't think there's any other book besides Curse of Strahd.
Yeah, it's Curse of Strahd.
Okay, yeah.
The good thing, or the main thing to note with Van Richten's is it's a lot like the Theros book, the Ravnica book, the Wildmount book. It is a guide to the place, and like those books, it does have an adventure in it that you can run with your party, which I think is pretty rad. The thing that I like is that sorry, there's a cat scratching over here. The thing I like is that there's all the different domains of dread, and from what I understand, there are 30 different ones that are going to be in there.
That's what I heard. Heard there were 30 different parts of the domain, which was insane.
We got Ethan in the chat, and we got Rafael from Portugal. Welcome. Thank you guys for checking it out. So I guess I have Mike Depew is here. Hey, Mike, good to see you. So yeah, we're talking about the Ravenloft book. It's got the domains of dread. There's 30 new domains, or 30 new. They're redoing a bunch of old ones, and I'm pretty sure there's probably some new ones in there as well. We've got some new races, some the Gothic lineages that were in the Unearthed Arcana that we did a video on a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
And
the subclass stuff.
Yep, the new subclasses. There's the College of Spirits Bard and the Undead Patron for the Warlocks. Those were in a Unearthed Arcana back in August, I believe.
Yep.
Mackenzie and I were talking before the stream started, and neither of us are excited for the College of Spirits, but we're both pretty excited for the Undead Patron. I think. What is it?
So as long as there's not too many crazy changes, it should be good.
Yeah, and I think an Undead Patron has been, I guess, somewhat lacking, especially if they keep it how they did it in the Unearthed Arcana. It's less of a warlock necromancer and more of just like a creepy, like pseudo lich kind of warlock, and I think that's pretty rad.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong on this, because I saw something about this early when it was leaked, and maybe since then it's been fixed, because I just looked at the one site and can't see it. Someone said there was parts of the campaign to just stick in for any level, like 1 through 16. Is that mistaken, or is that something I read that was just speculation, or it's something that's actually in Candlekeep and not this book?
That is not something I know.
Okay. I just saw it when it first leaked, and I thought it might have just been a mistake.
Yeah, I'm not sure on that. I did as much research as I could on it. at work and whatnot. You know, can't really
Right, and there's not too much
do a
out
bunch,
for it.
do a bunch. Yeah, and there's not that much out. There are a thing called the dark gifts that we'll get as
So that
players. I wonder if that will be similar in a way to what they did with the Mythic Odyssey of Theros with the divine gifts, the supernatural gifts that we got there.
I think it'll be something similar to that, and the Eberron, where you can get the marks, like the dragon mark thing, or all that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that'll all be a part of it too.
The dragon marks were more of sub race than they were of like.
I knew they gave
gifts.
like different stuff, but yeah, I think there'll be more so the, like you said, Theros. They might have a decent amount of them in there.
Yeah. Let's see. It releases on May 18th, 2021. So go down to your local game shop, pre-order it on Amazon, get it from D&D Beyond, wherever you get your books. Try and get that.
Two different covers if you want both, or just one.
Want both.
There's an option for that.
I personally like the regular cover, as is the usual trend it's been with me. Mackenzie likes the alternate cover, which has been the usual trend for him.
Yeah. I like the pink. I don't know why. I don't remember that being on any books. I'm like, yeah, let's throw that on there.
Yeah.
Strahd in the background with a sword and some lady's face in the blade.
Yeah. Kaylee, thanks for watching.
There was one thing I read, which I thought was pretty good. It was off of Inverse, the website. Mm-hmm. It was the lead designer, Wes. I don't know his last name. He said during some press conference. He's like, well, make this the players will feel they have to scavenge for supplies and fight for everything. He's comparing it to the best of being a fight for your life as in a Fortnite, Call of Duty Warzone style, but during all Halloween season. I was like, all right, I'm in.
That sounds rad.
Halloween season. So, like, that's all I need.
Yeah, the cool thing with Ravenloft is the best way I heard it described is Ravenloft takes what you already know and just makes it scarier.
Yeah.
Because back in the day with I believe it was second edition when it first came out, zombies were very like specific, like everybody knows what the zombie is and what the zombie does in the game. And then the Ravenloft stuff came out, and you know, you're fighting the zombie. Oh, you hack the zombie's arm off. Well, the arm starts attacking you. The leg you hacked off starts attacking you, and like that was something that wasn't really done in regular D&D. So they really implemented it like in that, and obviously, I mean, like it's done really well because, like I said, they've redone. Gone back to Ravenloft in every edition since then. They've done board games for it. So obviously Ravenloft is a setting that's stood the test of time, and it's just going to keep on going. I think
it's always one of those big curtain calls for it. It's like, all right, what should we do? Ravenloft? All right. And they just pull it back in for a second.
I think with everybody except our group, myself excluded, loves Ravenloft, because it seems like our group just hated Ravenloft, and I think it all had to do with I think it really had to do with the certain tarot cards that we drew whenever we started that quest.
You're talking about the Curse of Strahd one?
Yes, the Curse of Strahd, sorry. Okay. Whenever we did Curse of Strahd, like our group seemed to like just not really enjoy that one as much.
I know a lot of the group of it. I only played in 3 of the X amount of campaigns. I liked it all right. That was the one where I got the little toy and had the leg part of it cut off and gave Tommy's character. It was not bad. I didn't know enough of it whatsoever of playing it with only 3 times. Yeah. But yeah, just hearing, I would love to do it again, obviously. just because it'd be fun.
The best way that I've seen and heard to do it is stack the tarot deck beforehand, and
Okay.
that way it's like, okay, this is what you're gonna do. I don't know if that's really the best way to do it, but I mean, obviously,
Right.
having it random like we had it wasn't the best, and it made for a rough time for that group. But in the end, Strahd killed us all but you. That's not true. Strahd killed two of the four or three of us.
Yeah.
I don't even remember who all played in that game. I just know that my druid didn't die, and
I
Tommy's
didn't die.
character and Dave's character died.
Yeah.
Last thing we remember with your characters, you were running around in some werewolf cave. That's
Yep.
it.
I was left on the top of the cave with the water, the werewolf, and I was like, "Yeah, I'll be back." 2 weeks later, it didn't come back. Didn't come back again, and they were like, "All right, we finished it."
Yep.
I'd like to learn that one again.
Yeah. So I guess one of the main things that the new Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft book is going to focus on is those 30 domains of dread. We do know what some of them are. I'm quite positive I am not saying any of these names right because I know I didn't spell them right when I wrote them down. Because I was trying to listen to a video about it while in between customers. We've got Diemtlu. It's like the Shadowfell meets the Feywild.
Okay, cool.
And like each of the domains of dread are ruled by a dark lord, and the dark lords, they're basically the ones who sculpt the domain of dread. The best example I have is Lord Soth from the Dragonlance books. He gets taken by the mist into Ravenloft. He has some run-ins with Strahd, and then eventually he's like, you know what, I'm getting out of here, and he just takes off into the mist. Well, as we learned in Curse of Strahd, running in the mist will do a lot of damage to you.
Yeah.
But where Soth was such a powerful evil entity, it created his own domain of dread, which is known as Sithicus. Long story short, Dragonlance came back for Soth, so Soth is no longer in Ravenloft.
Okay.
So he's not there, but there are references to Sithicus in the book, from what I understand.
That's cool.
There's one, it's called like Valconia, I believe. And originally it was like, I think, if I'm not mixing up my notes, I think this one was basically like Dracula's domain, but Dracula and Strahd, there's just so much similarities there.
Right.
They redid this one, and this area, this domain, is basically like zombie apocalypse.
Okay,
and it's
cool.
And it's very like survivor based, which I think is pretty cool. There's one called like Kalkari, which there's some rival forces trying to take over the domain, and from what it sounds like, you can get some real fun like political kind of games going in this area, which I really enjoy. Not everybody enjoys that kind of game, but it's really fun for role playing. There is a battle royale domain of dread.
I heard that,
and it's basic. The way it was described, by Todd Kenrick in his video about it, it was you enter and the Dark Lord is there and is like, "What's up? I'm gonna hunt you. Try and get away." And like, there's also another like party that's there, like NPC style, and they're either going to be friends with you, or they're going to try and kill you or sacrifice you in some way. And I'm like, oh, this is really cool.
It's like a Hunger Games, or I can't think of the book where you put on an island and the rich guy hunts you because he's hunting the most dangerous man. It might be Dangerous Game. I don't know.
I think it's the Most Dangerous Game. Yeah.
So yeah, that's what that reminds me of. But I saw the battle royale. I was like, all right.
There's also it's called Lamortia, I believe. It is basically the mad scientist domain. It's basically like Frankenstein, and it's got Dr. Mordenheim, which is in one of the books that I have.
Yeah.
Um,
I think he's in a campaign, what I read was correctly, that you can play that's 5th edition, that he's dead, his house or something that he's dead in, and that's actually in the 5th edition one that you can do. If I find it, I'll let the House of... No, that's not it. That's not it.
Okay.
But yeah, that's not the right one. That's a different note. But yeah, I saw that where it was like, oh, this was a book that they put out that you could play in 5th edition. He's in it. And I was like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. I think with all the different domains of Dread, I think they are trying to hit every single type of horror, like genre that they have. That way there's at least something for everybody. Because I mean, we've covered, Victorian Gothic, we've got zombie apocalypse, and then mad scientists. So I mean, like that's hitting a lot of the different things. I mean, Ravenloft it's got monsters, it's got everything really. So
okay, excuse me on what I said. That guy is in a Ravenloft adventure called The Bleak House, but it was a 1996 adventure in the advanced Dungeons and Dragons. I knew he was in something else.
Yeah. Well, I mean, someone has probably converted that to 5th edition anyways, so
right.
That. What other notes do we have here?
Let's see what I got real quick. Oh, there was one we were talking about before. Well, no, we can't remember when we went live and when we didn't go live. We were talking beforehand, but we didn't mention. I thought it was cool that this one, is one of the very few things, if not the least, of just, hey, this is new printed from them in Ravenloft since, Strahd.
Yeah.
A lot of the stuff is in Forgotten Realms. That's what most of it is in, that they write now in 5th edition.
Yeah. That's where, like, the main, like, hub of stuff comes from. Like, Saltmarsh is technically in Greyhawk.
Okay.
Like Frost Maiden, Out of the Abyss, Dragon Heist, Mad Mage. I mean, those are all on the Sword Coast in Forgotten Realms, but they do put in there how you can, implement them in other worlds or even stick them in your own world, which I always like. I think the big thing for me with this book is I will probably I'll probably just borrow from this book for my own world, which is what I do anyways. But I think I would maybe run a Curse of Strahd Ravenloft game if you guys wanted to sometime. I think that would be fun. I think one thing that we need to do is like, all right, this is how this adventure is. This is what the adventure calls for. Make your character around that, because I think we're pretty bad at just like, oh, I have an idea for a character. Yeah, let's just do it.
Right. But this one is kind of like, we'll get into in a second, but probably playing those new races makes it feel and gives you that more, oh, okay, like it's scarier playing a half-dead person than, what are you? I'm an elf. It's like,
yep.
All right, well, doesn't really fit what we're doing, but I get it.
Yeah, and with my random knowledge of things from Ravenloft, like if you're something supremely unique and you're in Ravenloft, everything is going to be drawn to you. In one of the books, Strahd had a pet dragon that had come out, or that had been drawn into Ravenloft from the mists. and the main character of the story kills the dragon, and Strahd was like, "Oh man, I didn't have any of those before, but you're much more unique than that dragon, so I'm not mad at you." And it was just like all right, like this is cool. So I mean, it might be like, oh, you're a warforged in Ravenloft. All of the mad scientists are going to be after you now. So I mean, like I think that could be a really fun trope that you could do. It's like, all right, let's do like a weird party. Like we've got a warforged, we've got a Dom Pier's always good. I mean, especially since they're doing that now. I think that would be. What is it?
So if you showed up as a satyr,
satyr would be good. Any of like the bestial races, Minotaur, Leonin, Tabaxi, the Loxodon, I think would be like interesting like that, especially in that like mad scientist kind of way.
Right. Simic hybrid. Because that's what that would look like. How'd they make this? Why haven't we made these? We've made Frankensteins, but not fish people.
Yeah.
One thing I read, which you touched on too, they said the book is kind of like, Eberron more so in the like settings of it, but it's mixed with the first person style from Tasha's. And then the last part, which was interesting to me, said that it's narrative focused, like Descent into Avernus. I have not played Descent into Avernus, so I don't know exactly what that means by that. Some people watching may know and realize they like that. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
I don't know if it's a super story based because narrative.
I think we're gearing up to play Avernus because I know Chris wants to run it, so we'll know after that.
Right. And then they said there was a 20-page adventure inside of the book.
Yes.
So
which I mean, like they did that with Eberron, they did that with Wildmount.
Yeah.
So I think it's good. I mean, that's something that you could use as like a jumping off point to get your characters into the game if you don't use Curse of Strahd.
Right.
I mean, you could even do that, the jumping point into Strahd if you really wanted to.
Yeah, because if I remember correctly, the jump in, because I was there for that, didn't make any sense to me in Curse of Strahd. It took me a while to realize, what are we even doing?
Yeah.
That segue.
Yeah, it was definitely odd. I don't rightly remember all of that because it's been a while since we've actually played that.
It's been a long time.
I know how I'd do it. I'm telling you. But yeah, I think I'm most excited for the Dom Pier,
right?
The Undead Warlock Patron.
Yeah,
and I'm excited for more monsters because it's no secret that I'm a monster junkie when it comes to D&D. So if it's got monsters in it, I want to have it. I'm
sure it has to. I mean, most of them all do anyway.
Oh,
it
does. Much more. Yeah, but I think the good thing is they're going to be like horror themed monsters, which is stuff that we have, but not that we have a whole lot of. So it makes me excited for that.
I'm pretty stoked for it. I'm trying to see. I know it says there's like 256 pages, if I'm not mistaken, which is a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is in comparison to Tasha's. I can let you know it's only about 50-some pages shorter than Icewind Dale. Cool. And Icewind Dale is pretty large. It might be their biggest one.
Yeah. Which, I mean, Icewind Dale is basically a straight adventure.
Right.
It's not like a player
give you
supplement.
Like much stuff at the end.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I bought Icewind Dale for the Frost Ice themed monsters in the back.
Right.
But yeah, I think this will be a good book. I think it'll definitely be worth looking into getting, especially if you and your group really enjoy these kind of horror feeling games. I I really think you could even like tie in like the Frost Maiden game into this if you wanted to.
You might be
Because I mean,
able to. Yeah, I know.
there's
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, there's so much like going on in Icewind Dale with the Frost Maiden. I think it could be like, all right, you guys, you defeat the Frost Maiden, but like you do, and then all this like mist starts to surround you, and you could pull it
Right.
in, and maybe there will be a domain of dread of the one of the 30 that fits in well with an icy terrain, and like you could just tie that in, or
Right.
maybe even like I don't know. Really, I mean, you can tie anything in if you really want to. I mean,
Right. I know some people will be like, "Oh, well, it's Ravenloft and Forgotten Realms," but like we talked about earlier, just mix them. It's not. It's not going. Unless you're
well,
going like hardcore story that's already written to tie in. Yeah. Who cares?
the good thing with Ravenloft is it's a part of the Shadowfell, which is the plane of shadow, basically, like in all the planes of the multiverse.
Yeah.
But it's like it's a part of of the Shadowfell, but it's its own little section that is
Okay.
like tied. It's like separate from Shadowfell, but it's a part of it's kind of convoluted in a way.
Yeah.
But
That's
like
cool.
if you like look through all the different like Ravenloft stuff, I mean, um, in the Vampire of the Mists book, they talk about Lathander, which is the god of the sun from Forgotten Realms. Well,
Yeah.
Lord Soth from Dragonlance is there, and like so there's all these different like things that are just pulled into Ravenloft. So basically, if you're a bad
That's
guy in any universe, there's a chance that Ravenloft will pull you in.
welcome you. That's
Yeah.
cool.
I don't know if
That
it's so much as a welcome as it just takes you. um, I had something else I was going to say, but I've already forgotten. Um, I don't know.
do you want to talk about the? I mean, there's a video you can watch for the races. So I don't know if we got to go super in detail on that.
No, I don't. I don't think that we need to go into the races. Whenever this is processed and everything, I'll put a link to the Unearthed Arcana down in the description. But you can just go and find it on our page if you want to watch it. I think
Yeah.
those races are good. I think they're pretty solid. The Reborn is the only one that we were really like iffy about.
Yeah.
So
There's
I
one thing
think,
they had to change and it'd be okay.
yeah. Um,
The two new colleges that we touched on.
College
From
of
all
Spirits, and then Undead Patron Warlock. I think we hit all the major points of it. Talked a little bit about some of the domains and everything. So,
overall, I mean, you're pretty excited. It seems like for Curse of Strahd or whatever. You know what I mean?
Van Richten and his guide to Ravenloft. I
Right,
am.
right.
I am. I have said that I don't care for the book games. I don't want to run a book game, but I think if I was going to run a book game, I would do a Curse of Strahd, but I would use this to make Curse of Strahd even better,
Right.
because every single poll, every single thing I've looked at online, number one adventure is Curse of Strahd. Like everybody except for the Blue Dragon Guild loves Curse of Strahd.
Right. Yeah.
But I think if I was going to do a book game, it would be this, but I would flavor it up however I wanted with the additions of this book. So
I like the book stuff, but I like the scarier ones of all of them, like Icewind Dale, Strahd. If I played again, I'm sure I'd like it. This, Descent into Avernus, those are like the four now, being three of them being the main ones. Campaigns of all right, those seem different than the Abyss, the little Eberron stuff, the little Ravnica things. I'm trying to think of some other campaigns off the top of my head. The Storm, Prince of Apocalypse.
yeah,
I just like how they have those different ones of the horror and the non. which is fun. I like those a
Yeah.
lot. And I'm always generic, like, hey, it should come out during Halloween time. Yeah, August is good. It's close.
Yeah, yeah.
By the time you finish it, you might be near Halloween.
Yeah, yeah. I think we've covered the main points of this book. I think you and I are the most excited out of everybody in the group.
What
Me,
should probably be
obviously.
Chris would love it.
I don't know. That's Chris for you.
Seems right. He'll never know.
You'll never know. But yeah, I think it'll be good. I think it's going to be worth picking up. Like I said earlier, go to your local game store, Amazon, wherever you get your books. Order it, pre-order it, whatever you need to do to get your hands on this book.
Get on it fast.
Get on it fast, because some of those in-store orders get claimed pretty quick.
Yep. You
So
gotta be ready.
So
I'm pretty excited.
Yep.
It reminded me once I first saw it, because it's the guide to Ravenloft and the gentleman's name. I immediately thought it was just going to be straight monster book, kind of like Volo's guide to everything. I was like, oh man. And then it even got better to me.
I thought that as well. I did a good bit of research, and I was like, it's going to be one of two things. It's going to be like how the Wild Mount book was, or it's going to be like Volo's guide or Mordenkainen. And I'm not going to lie, I really wanted it to be like Mordenkainen and everything, and just have a little bit of the race stuff in the front. But I'm not disappointed. It is what it is. So
right, because I thought it'd be the same too, like just guide with monsters. Because where they re-released Curse of Strahd, I was like, okay, they may not release something of a campaign because people that are getting into 5th edition later, like, hey, Strahd's back out, or for the first time. So, but I was really excited with what they did. August can't be fast enough, so it's gonna be good.
Yeah, I don't know why you're waiting until August, because it comes out in May.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, May 18th.
Oh, I'm thinking August for the Arcana.
Last August for the Unearthed Arcana. This comes out on May 18th.
I must be thinking football. That's even better. May. You don't even have to wait as. Yeah, everybody. Order before August. If not, you're not getting it.
All right. So this has been our quick discussion of the Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft. As I've said twice now, go to your local store, Amazon, wherever you get your books, pre-order it. If you want to see more D&D content, hit that subscribe button. And until next time, go roll some dice.